Okay, I think it's time to chime in on the promotion of Jon Van Citters. Sorry, I think it's pronounced as. Let's get this title right, and it's important because the title, his new position, Vice President, Star Trek Brand Development at CBS Studios, Global Franchise Management. It's not just just development. It's Star Trek specifically. He has his own department. That does show that at least Star Trek is important to CBS. They don't understand what the hell they're doing with it, but it is important to them. And mind you, this is like a lot of people coming from comicbook.com, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of CBS Incorporated now. This is now basically their official propaganda arm for this sort of thing. So they're touting this, and I think I'm going to go with a lot of speculation that this is trying to counter the, I'm guessing, very good deal that Alex Peters got. No, not Peters. Alex Kurtzman. Sorry. Too many Alexes. That Kurtzman got when Lundvez signed to his 5-year deal before being shown the door himself. And I'm guessing it's too expensive to fire Kurtzman at this point, but they can certainly clip his wings to non-existence. Because let's see. Remember when the fan film thing, the guidelines came down? He was the one who came out to do the happy talk. Say, hey, look, it's okay, guys. These are actually more lenient than the Lucasfilm guidelines for fan films at the time. And I think that's one point that a lot of people didn't quite miss. The Star Wars fan films, they're limited to like 5 minutes. You can't, and certainly no ongoing series at the time. So. But I think, the Star Wars case, those, most of the fans only wanted to do like little ditties. They didn't want to do ongoing series. The nature of movies, it's a cinematic property. That kind of goes to the whole thing of why Star Trek and movies were never a good fit anyway. But let's, again, this is on his LinkedIn profile of what he does in this new position, which is probably not much different than what he was doing before, just now he has more authority to say, no, you can't do that. Now before, it was like, if he was dealing with licensees to this point, where someone would come up with saying, I want to do a Star Trek toothbrush type of thing, and this, you got to do this, and you can't have that, But now, it's like he, let's see, primarily working on content development and new brand initiatives ranging from original fiction to gaming to online content and live events, creative liaison to writers' rooms and production teams across the Star Trek brand. In other words, he's now our guy in the writers' room. Forget this anonymous bunch of super fans, and this is in the estimation of Kurtzman and his merry band of morons who wouldn't know a super fan if it bit him in the nuts. This guy we can count. He knows what he's doing. Under his thing, you've seen some pretty good stuff come out. He started off with that Starfleet Survival Manual, which I rather liked. I think I got one. I know I wanted to get one. I think I did, finally. And he was, driving for getting the updated encyclopedia off the ground. I just got to grab by the fact that it weighs like 40 pounds and make a pretty good boat anchor. But, I got we even brought it with us down here. It's in storage at the moment. And I imagine in the efforts to redo the Concordance, or at least be having some dealings with them at some point. I know BJ was trying to get a hold of somebody. She's got a friend in the office somewhere. No matter what legal ground do we stand on regarding bringing it back in the first place? Do we have to go through CBS after all, or can we still do it on our own? So I imagine he'll at least be talking. And I've put a request in to connect up on LinkedIn. So, but yeah. I think we have finally got... Yeah, and he was part of the team for the restoration of the Enterprise at the Smithsonian, which has been sorely needed for like 20 years, And Ed Marecki is, a great prop builder, but apparently also has an ego the size of Jupiter, so... So trying to tell him he's wrong about this. No, this is the way... Yeah. I think I may have done a video on that already about how his whole idea of what this ship looked like at the time is totally wrong. But yeah, I think this will finally start turning the corner here a bit. But again, we're talking about, at one point was $1 billion a year franchise for whoever owned it at the time, Paramount and then CBS. It's not going to turn around overnight, I know. And apparently, again, this thing is an indication that no, they can't just fire Kurtzman willy-nilly. Because I guess that 5-year contract. And nope, I got a play deal. And probably not limited to Star Trek. Too. In fact, I remember it was not limited to just Star Trek, right? All kinds of things. And since they just canceled, I think, no, they haven't canceled 550 yet, but I think it's on the bubble. It has not yet been renewed. And let's see, Salvation got canceled. So his track record's kind of iffy, really. So he might be, trying to hang on to the Star Trek. There's some kind of, job insurance. But, yeah, Star Trek will go on. Kurtzman won't necessarily go on with it. You should figure that out real quick. But, again, hopefully going forward, and again, I'm assuming Van Citters, he's a fanboy himself. A well-placed fanboy and very successful, at this point. But hopefully he's got enough of, he's picked up enough of the fan vibe that's like, they don't like this show. There's no fixing it. There's one thing that he's kind of behind the encyclopedia. He's been involved in a lot of the stuff. He knows canon well enough that's like, there's no fixing this. There's no reconciling. There's no magic, And the only way to make it fit with canon is to totally obliterate this show at the last episode, and again have something like Q come in and say, "Well, that didn't work very well," or somebody says, "Computer closed program," and it's all a holodeck simulation. So either way, it has to be a point where none of it counts for anything, because there is no reconciling this stuff. It's too far out of whack. None of it fits. The timeline isn't right either, because again, they're talking like. There was some talking like this would be leading up to the Cage when the Cage in the timeline happened like 3 years ago. So it's like they don't even know when they're screwing up. They're that ignorant on this thing. So apparently this is, this is the necessary, thing. I was like, nope, that's it. Time to start stopping on the brakes here, and we'll try and do it in such a way that we can save face and not admit we're idiots. But someone's finally in a position to say, that's it. The line must be drawn here, no further. And that's my thoughts on that. So, and we are getting close. It's last count, subscriber count of 865. We're getting closer there, but need to get this over the line, kids, because this is getting ridiculous. Because everywhere it's going, it's like even the cheap places down here, for a room to rent, they're talking about $1,000 up front just to get in the door. And that's for a $500 a month, a room. Not even the full apartment, just renting the room. And I found some weird little thing. You'd think something that wouldn't be this kind of, Nigerian scam type thing, but I've been going through this roomster.com, thing where you're not trying to find whole houses or just rooms, people looking for roommates, and I see a thing where it's like 5 or 6 different listings, the exact same pictures, and you get an email. If you contact the person, they get an email back, and the language is such as this is clearly not a native English speaker, and yet they're insisting they are from the United States. And they are a fashion designer, 30 years old, and love to make friends and have people. And saying, okay. And if they give you an address, look it up. And one of them, it's like it was a private home. And obviously, flat is not. It's not a flat. That's a house, you idiot. And it's not for sale. And there's no list. And there's no corresponding listing that they're renting a room either. So it's like, okay. So that's a example of do a little due diligence and check these things out before you go diving in. Because people try and make scams out of anything these days. It's ridiculous. It's very sad commentary in our society. And I'm not sure how it would even work in this case, because, again, you kind of hate to, come back and, you're ready, because you don't want to give them any hints to improve their game. But it's like you get this, obviously not native English, and then you go in and actually give the address. Yeah, how is that going to work where you actually get any money out of this? Because, well, I'll just go check out the address and then go on there. We have no idea what you're talking about. Get off my property. What's their comeback with that? Okay, well, again, let's get the thing up. Share, subscribe, like, dislike. Like it doesn't matter because it's still interaction as far as the algorithm's concerned. And I'm already looking around on eBay and Amazon trying to find that enterprise model. So when we get to that magic number, I can do a live with a super chat and do that blindfold build. So, PayPal, Patreon down below, and other things. And I decided to, throw in Sponsor Star, I think it was. It's all on the bottom there. Just click on one you like, and we'll catch you later.